Hello, team. We are here for our weekly team member spotlight. We have an incredibly special guest this week, the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Grapevine, a man that has worn many, many hats at UMortgage and has done an incredible job in all of those. Sean, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. Every day is a new day here at UMortgage and in my life, and I'm just this is a great way to start it.
I feel very privileged to have, built the relationship that I have with you. We've worked together on a lot of different things over these years. But I think it would be great just to kind of we've got so many new U Mortgage team members that, weren't along for the entire ride. And I think it would be great to take a kind of a trip down memory lane and go over how did Sean get into the mortgage business and even what was going on before the mortgage business. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's a pretty typical. Everybody goes through it where the dishwasher to line cook to barista to coffee wholesale salesperson to car salesperson to loan officer to broker owner to branch manager to vice president of product strategy. That everybody pretty much goes through in their lives. But yeah, I mean, it's so weird. Like everybody didn't expect to be a loan officer, but the path I took here, I'm sure like most people's kind of like was always pointing towards that. So yeah, I in high school I was a dishwasher at restaurants. I loved working in restaurants and became a prep cook and then a line cook. And I mean, I see a lot of similarities to being a loan officer and being a cook or working in the restaurant industry in general. It's like high paced, problem solving, a lot of plates spinning at once. And I think, like, to be honest, it's like everybody should be required to do like a couple years of military service or a couple years of retail service or a couple years of like working in a restaurant, just in order to orient like their expectations and really like everything I've done since working in the restaurants. I'm like, this is so easy. People are like, it's a hard day. I was like, yeah, but we were sitting down the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
like in the restaurant, it was just so crazy. Like you're working these 12-hour days and then you get 4 hours of sleep and not good sleep. And then you wake up and you do 12 more hours and it's just so hard and there's no money in it. But yeah, I did that for a long time and eventually like was like, man, I would love to it not be this hard. And got into the coffee, like became a barista for a bit when I was not sure what to do. And the guy who I worked for, who owned the coffee shop, they roasted their own beans and like sold them to like other markets and cafes and stuff like that. But he'd been a loan officer before 2008 and bought the coffee shop like at just the right time, basically. And he was one of those guys like who was like writing the craziest loans in the world from his basement and making like $1 million and just whatever probably caused the financial crisis. But sorry Nick if you watch this, but he was like, you should sell things. And so I started doing wholesale coffee sales. I would go to like little coffee shops and markets and grocery stores and restaurants and like try and sell coffee. It's really hard to do. I think I was pretty good at it, but there's no money in it. And like, it's like trying to sell a product that everybody already has that they're already paying less money for and that they don't care about. It's like, this is crazy. So from there, I was like, I need to make more money. I'm good at sales. Thank you, Nick. I'm going to go work in car sales, which I love. There's good money in it. I was really good at it. The hours were long. It was very much like the closest thing to working in a restaurant. Because it's just like, you have to be there. But I wasn't crazy about like benefiting from like it was so easy to not tell the truth because you benefited more the less truth you told. And I would literally like Googled like sales jobs don't require college degree regulation, high income or something like that. And it was the loan officer came up and I was like, all right, I'll become a loan officer. So became a loan officer, did well at it, started my own brokerage, began hating compliance, licensing, bookkeeping, accounting, like all that stuff, and moved my whole company over here to UMortgage. I messaged you and I was like, hey man, I would love to join. Look, you told me I could say whatever I want. I was like, I would love to join. And I was getting crazy bonus like signing bonus offers from everywhere else. I was like, I'd love to join. Curious to hear what kind of signing bonuses there is. And you were like, actually, can I have $250,000. And I was like, okay. So I get a reverse signing bonus. I have an ownership interest in UMortgage, which I'm proud of and excited for. And that's how I got here.
What a path. What a path. I mean, we share, I think one of the reasons why we became so connected is we share a lot of that background when it comes to working in the restaurant. I started as a dishwasher, then I became a cook. And just, the overall approach to like, just kind of get it done mentality. And you have that in a big way of like everything you do, you just kind of dive into and you really, kind of integrate yourself in a way where, you're going to figure it out and make it happen. So you came here, you partnered with Ben Bell. You guys kind of came here somewhat simultaneously to start the ATL branch. After a period of time, you launched Agent Direct, which was kind of like the seed to a degree of Tempo. I think a lot of the philosophies and the activity tracking and the daily structure and accountability and the leaderboards, a lot of that stuff kind of birthed it in Agent Direct. But let's talk about, this evolution from joining UMortgage to building Tempo. And let's not forget, you also had built a technology platform prior to joining UMortgage. So this wasn't like a completely out of the blue thing. You had background in building tech.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Whenever I retell the story about like how I actually became product manager of Tempo, I never am really telling the truth because I can't remember like what actually like what it seems like the kind of thing like you and I should have like decided and been like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. But it actually kind of happened really slowly. I came over to the corporate team. I like to be part of the like strategy, the go forward of like where UMortgage was going, and kind of bounced around. I don't know if you remember this, like a couple of roles for like 3 months. I mean, at the same title, but like doing this, running that, running this, running that. And then finally, like you and I were just like, let's build the CRM. And I think one of the things you and I really connected on was like, you and I both believe a CRM and a technology platform can be the operating system for a salesperson, a loan officer's life or like business, and that nothing that's out there right now is any good at it.
Yep.
And also the third thing, which is what you and I really connect on, is we thought we could do it better. Uh, and yeah, so like moved from the sales side to the corporate side, bounced around for a little bit, and then we sort of assembled this team. We created. I mean, the original beta of Tempo came out like 2 years ago, and so we worked for like 4 to 6 months on that. We had an external team that was helping. We had some internal people doing it. It was all built on like completely on Salesforce, and it wasn't very pretty. And I was just re-looking at like old videos of it, and there's literally like we have this navigation bar now that is like too full. Like we need to figure out some way to get some of these things off there. But like I was looking at it, it was literally just said like home and activity log, and then it said refi opportunities. But I remember if you click that button, nothing happened. It was just there. So yeah, it's been like, but it's been great. It's been really interesting being a loan officer creating software for loan officers. But I will say, like, even stepping away for 2 or 3 years, there have been parts where since I've been originating a little bit more on the side. We'll maybe get to that later. Now that I'm actually like using it for my own business, I'm like, ooh, it does help to use your own tools. Like there's some fun ways this can grow.
Well, it's interesting because like I I use Tempo every day and I'm underutilizing Tempo in a big way. Like that's one of the things you and I had exchanged some messages on last week is like I want to go through your workflow because I'm using it for activity tracking. I'm definitely using it for note tracking. But there's so many features that have come out in the last 6 months that I haven't dove into yet. So like I think part of it is like understanding like how do we build it is like we really listen to our users. I mean, like let's talk a little bit about that. Like there was an initial vision, but how to go through that evolution of developing the platform. Like what drove that process, and how did you come up with each of the things that we delivered on?
Yeah, I mean, there's this base level of like what a system needs to have, right? Like if you signed into something and it's got a person's name, when you click on it, it should show their phone number and email address and stuff like that. So, there was some low hanging fruit there, but yeah, I mean, like everything that's in there that like is actually functional comes from legitimately my experience being a loan officer, your experience being a loan officer, or one of our loan officers' experience being a loan officer. I mean, I think an excellent example of that is, and especially now that I think our proportion of user influenced features is going up and up and up as the sort of platform matures. Like Travis Tannehill a few weeks ago was like, it'd be cool. We have this commission cap on the broker side, or not commission cap. We have a corporate margin cap on the broker side. It'd be cool if there was a tracker for that. And I was like, dude, I bet you that would bring a lot of delight. And I think that's kind of what I always lead with is delight. Like it already tracks activities. That's the one thing it's done since day one, but nobody's going to use it just for that. I mean, like we're just creatures of like, hey, this thing has to like provide some sort of, not just like this bland value of like, I can look at what I did, but like it has to be part of like what I want. I want to look at it. And so whenever there's anything where I'm like, ooh, I bet you that would delight a bunch of people, I really listen to that and try to put that into production, because I mean, I see it myself, and I think you do too. You use Whoop. I'm a big runner. I use Strava, and like, man, a couple times a day, I just go in there and look. It literally doesn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, how was my run again this morning? Oh yeah, that's right. I crushed it. And there's just something about like that side of things. So that's what I listen to most is like somebody has an idea and I'm like, oh, 50 people will love that. I'm like, let's put it in. Like, who cares if it's useful? Let's make that build on the usefulness of the app. Let's make that the thing that attracts people into using the utility.
Yeah, I think one of the things that have really brought Tempo alive, and I don't know, I still don't think we have enough people using it. I mean, that's kind of like the historical loan officer mantra is not adopting any system other than their LOS. But I think when we've had rate declines, that's what has shown me like, wow, like this is the superpower of Tempo, because like everything time we had a rate decline, like our marketing hub built into Tempo, like it activated leads, it reactivated past clients, and our refi volume just went through the roof. Now, of course, some of that is sales process. Of course, that's a huge part of its sales process. But the fact that like we were getting messages from different people like, man, like that last email campaign, I've gotten 25 email responses on a Friday. I'll be working refis all weekend long. Like,
yeah. My favorite one was somebody was like, can you not send these refi emails at Friday at 3 p.m.? I like got too many responses. And I'm like, man, that's no.
Yeah, that's good.
We will continue to.
So like, I look at it, and every time I'm demoing it for outside like recruits that are considering joining UMortgage, I like keep coming back to like, wow, man, this has gotten so good. And like James was showing me what's coming in the commission tracker with deductions and all that stuff. Like, talk a little bit about that, because like, when I saw the most recent iteration, Tyler and I were in a chat with James, and he was showing us like how LOs will be able to see their expenses and their past credit report reimbursements, all these different things. I was like, holy cow, like that's the missing piece for the commission calculator.
Yeah, no, I mean, for anybody who wants to know like how we sort of develop this thing is like in Tempo, the easy thing for the Tempo team is like if the data exists somewhere in like one of our systems, it's very easy for us to like pluck it out of a field and do whatever we need to do to it and give it a cool font and like show it in Tempo. Like that's the really easy part. And what James has done is, we have provider, we have Brex, and we have our like benefits providers, and we have our payroll company, Paylocity, and it's like all of our stuff. Like it used to be that we didn't have any of that stuff centralized. And what James and the rest of the team have done is like really centralize those things. So, it used to be you get paid and some money comes out and then you find out about it. Now it's like all that stuff is in one place, and you'll be able to actually see like, okay, this is my gross. This is how much I get in commissions. Because we get questions all the time. It's like, hey, I got $10,000 in commissions, but my paycheck says $8,000. And I'm like, well, no, it's not like we took 2,000. It's like this happened, this happened, this happened. And actually, you're getting paid this amount because you're getting it reimbursed, and this is non-taxable. It's like, and people are just like, their eyes glaze over. So you'll actually be able to see all of that like written out, and we just have more. And I mean, it's like a really, really fun time in the UMortgage data world, if you can believe it, where it's like we have so much and we can display all of it. And I really think, like, going back to what I said, like, it's nice to just go in and look at numbers. Like there's something human about being like, like, and like it provides so much trust and like dopamine for some reason. So we're getting to this point in Tempo where like we're beginning to show things, not just do things, but like show things. And I think that's this visibility era is going to be really great and provide a lot of that delight.
Yeah. And I also think for loan officers, like from what I've canvassed, like the industry at, like there is not a system or a platform that brings this kind of visibility into things like conversion rates and commission tracking and past client database and email open rates. Like a lot of these metrics, a lot of these things are typically siloed and gated, and the only people that get to see them are like the leadership teams of mortgage companies. The goal is for the individual LO to be able to see everything about their business in a way that they can make decisions, whether it's to turn on and off campaigns, whether it's to follow up with certain clients, whether it's to, make sure that their conversion rates are delivering the results they need. So it's super exciting. I mean, in just 2 years, where this thing has gone is just like, it's at the beginning, it's like it felt like it was moving so slow. And as you get to this last 6 months, it's like, whoa, we really are operating with high velocity, and it's just really impressive. So, I mean, kudos to you and the entire team for everything you've done to bring this vision to life. And also, like, part of your secret sauce that I don't think a lot of people get to see is the ability to galvanize a team and cultivate team culture. Like that's kind of like, to me, is one of the biggest superpowers that most of our UMortgage team members probably don't get visibility into. Is like the reason why Tempo is where it's at is there's an incredible group of people that are building it, but also that's an incredible group of people that really didn't have a lot of mortgage knowledge 2 years ago that you've helped, educate, get their buy-in, inspire them to build this platform, get them buy into the vision. So, for you, that's just like one of the things I always say is like that's Sean's superpower.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and I hope you're right. I suspect that I'm actually just incredibly lucky, and that like Corey and James and Brandon and Addison and Chris and Greg are actually, they just make anybody look good. And like I please don't, like, let's not run an experiment and see if there are 6 other random people. Like, and I don't want to, and there's AJ, everybody. It's like, don't give me 6 other random people and be like, can he do it again? Because I'm afraid the answer is no. We got so lucky and blessed to have like some of my best, like people I didn't know turned into some of my best friends working here. And that's why we work so well together, because it's like, we just are having a good time. It's literally so fun.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Sean the person, because I know you as a person, and I think it's you're not a big social media guy. For the people that know you, they get to experience, Sean's a foodie. He's married to an incredible partner that is got her own story and does amazing things. You just rebuilt your house was destroyed through a storm, and you just rebuilt your house. Like, let's talk about you as an individual. What's going on in your personal life? What are your fun things that you love to do? What drives Sean?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I live in Smyrna, Georgia, Atlanta, and I pretty much grew up here I did grow up here in Atlanta. And yeah, I mean, like my life is literally perfect. I don't know. I'm just so, and it wasn't always. I mean, I was like in and out of like rehab for drugs in my 20s, and like just literally the worst decision maker you've ever, I mean, even a worse decision maker than you when you were young, Anthony, if you can believe
Yes.
that. And yeah, have somehow like I have an incredible wife, Harvest. You guys should check out her music. And we just like she's my best friend. Oh, we just laugh like all day, every day about everything. And she's just my buddy. Like literally, that's our like. Some people are like babe, baby. I'm like buddy. That's my buddy. And so, yeah, I mean, like I try and keep, I think one of the things that's made me really happy over the last few years, and I was kind of like, you and I talk about this a lot, but like my day pretty much doesn't change. I mean, I do the same thing every day. Wake up at the exact same time. I set my alarm for 5:40. I do one snooze. I get out of bed at 5:49 because the snooze is only 9 minutes. I have 2 cups of coffee on the porch, the new porch. And then I go for a run. I run every single day. I like, and I'm always training for some new race. We got the Philly half coming up, and then I'm running a half marathon or a full marathon in December. I love running. I more than running, I love talking about running. It's my favorite thing in the world. And go to work, get done, and then yeah, you used to be a professional cook, so cook something amazing for my very lucky wife, and then like play a board game and like watch a show and go to bed. I mean, it's literally literally every single day is my favorite day. I'm like, how did I get this? It's so great. So yeah, and then we like to travel and stuff like that. We're going to England in a couple weeks, and really looking forward to that. And we have an amazing church as well. In fact, like Ben Bell goes to our church, Andrew Meister goes to our church, yeah, really Kim Butler, yeah, like really lucky to have. I mean, honestly, like a community that saved my life and is really like still my family. The whole reason I would not live in Atlanta if it wasn't for our church and our little community. So I probably live in New York City, honestly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And honestly, it's been great to watch you, take on some of these new habits, and your health and your running and just all these things have been super impressive. And also the way you've impacted the people around you, because they're all runners now and they're all doing, fun things with their health. I guess, for you at this point, going through kind of your goals and where you see yourself going, what's the next, 3 years look like for Sean Grapevine?
Well, I mean, I think this is as good a time as any to let the cat out of the bag. I have like I just said all this amazing things about how much I love my job and how much I love the people I work with, and how they're my best friends, and they will stay that way. But I just get jealous of loan officers. I'm going to be honest. And Tempo is so good right now, and I've been using it a little bit on the side. And I was like, I remember I called you like 4 weeks ago. I was like, man, I can't. I have to go back to being a loan officer. I think that it. I'm glad that I got a long break from being a loan officer, because I got to sit and watch the best loan officers in the world do what they do, and learn all the things that I had done wrong and didn't even know about as a loan officer, like VA loans, non-QM loans, how to prospect, like all that stuff. And it just like sitting there in the corporate world, holding onto my license and being like, yeah, okay, cool. That's a cool feature request. And then being like using the feature and getting the refi emails and like getting 6 loans from it, and me just being like, man, I'm really happy for you. Yeah, it's been, and I used to joke on the Tempo onboarding calls. I'd be like, I'm a licensed loan officer, and as soon as I get Tempo to the place where like I would use it as a loan officer, then I'm going to quit and become a loan officer. I was always like joking. But that's actually the truth. I am going back to being a full-time loan originator starting literally Monday. Today's Thursday, July 30th. So in August, I will be full-time loan officer in here at UMortgage, obviously. And yeah, really eating my own dog food, as they say, using Tempo, and continuing to lead the high value feature like development inside of Tempo. So not necessarily responding to bug reports, not necessarily like being a part of some of the like bigger strategic meetings and stuff like that, but like legitimately still pushing in features as I'm using it and being like, oh, it'd be nice, mass texting coming soon, 2 weeks. Or like just like goals or an analytics page and stuff like that. As I've been using it this last month, kind of ramping back up my business, I'm like, I need, like, this is all these loan officers who were requesting this were right. Oh, holy crap. So I mean, my goal is like to not make any of the mistakes that I like to re-become a loan officer, use the playbook and the tech stack that we have here, and not make any of the mistakes I did in the past. I'll tell you what my biggest mistakes were: A, resting on my laurels, like being like, oh, I'm big enough. B, this is crazy. And maybe this is just a me thing, but like building a team. I'll never build a team again. Like it's crazy to me that somebody who's doing $40 million a year. I'm sorry. This is hey, anybody who's recruiting into your team right now, mute this. But I'm like, man, you'd be so successful and so happy and so relaxed. And like, I would love to mentor people, but like, I'll never have anybody on my P&L, like any of that. Like, I just want to be a one-man show. I want to be a huge part of the UMortgage culture and like help people and be like of service. But yeah, not trying to like grow above what my capabilities are. I think that's a limitation I had anyway, is like thinking I can grow a team and then galvanizing people to join the team and then being like, I don't want this. So yeah, so I mean, I'm really looking forward to growing UMortgage from the inside out rather than from the outside in for the next few years, and growing my own business and like sharing my success as I do so.
I think you and I, like, I mean, you and I have had these conversations so much over the last year. It's like being a loan originator is such a great job. And like,
It's crazy. Just stop being a loan officer for a couple years if you think being a loan officer isn't a great job, and then go back to it and you're like, oh yeah, this is the stuff.
I mean, I can say I think about it every single day of like just originating again. Like I mean, obviously running a company keeps me very busy, but like when it comes to personal enjoyment of building a business, working with consumers, working with, referral partners that you have good alignment with, solving problems, um, you know, serving, like you said, serving, your community. There's just nothing better. And I think like the other thing is the freedom that can come with if you do it right. And that's what you're kind of talking about. It's like, hey, I don't want to build a team. You're going to hire an LOA, but you're not looking to hire loan officers because you just really want to focus on, hey, I want to build a business that I can go on vacation. I can control my schedule. I can do the things I want to do when I want to do it. And that's the great perks of being a loan officer that I think a lot of people, those two things that you talked about are the pain points that people run into. They either rest on their laurels or they get too caught up in the next thing and they stop enjoying the current thing. And that's the big mistake.
Yeah, 100%. And like, it's also, you can afford when you're new, you really can't afford to be picky. And I remember the guy who trained me being like, you can afford to be picky. And I was like, bro, I have like $40,000 in credit card debt and I'm making $0 per month. So I actually can't afford to be picky. But like the quicker that you can get to not being picky, the better. Like yesterday I met with this real estate agent and I was like, not sure how I was going to get along with him. And whatever, maybe we can do business together. Maybe it's a good relationship. Like maybe not. Like I'm not really going into it with high expectations. And he and I met. He runs a running club. He used to be in the car business. He loves like food and stuff. And I was like, oh, dude, this is great. I made a friend. I was like thinking of Andrew Cady at the time because Andrew Cady was telling me, he's like, I just create relationships with people. And I was like, yeah, that's great. But like, I'm not going to, but not that I think Andrew Cady does. Andrew Cady is just,
he absolutely does.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, he's not faking it. I'm like, I'm not going to fake it because I would have to fake it. Andrew Cady is just like a Labrador. He's just everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about him while I was like, dude, I freaking love this guy. Like, this is my new buddy. And yeah, it was great. I'm like, I can't wait. He was like, oh, I usually do business with these people, but you like, it's so cool that you're into all these things. I'm going to send you this like a paper conventional buyer today. I was like, oh, I can't believe this worked. This is so crazy. So yeah, I mean, like, I think that like, if I'd met a person that was like, oh, I expect this, and like, will you sponsor my events and will you pay for leads for me and stuff like that? I would have been like, you know what? It was great having coffee with you. I don't think we're a good fit.
Compatible.
And so, yeah, I think it pays, like, if you take a step back, not be desperate, realize that this is a long game, make sure you partner with people you actually want to like spend time with. Like, this could be such a fulfilling job.
Well, I think one question, I've got a couple questions for you before we
Okay.
wrap up. So, one
Rapid fire.
question, as somebody that originated at a high level, you owned your own brokerage, and now you're going back in after a couple of years. What advice would you give to loan originators out there right now that are, let's say below, not, they're at 0 to 4 loans a month. They haven't necessarily arrived just yet. They're still building. But like, what advice would you give them to say, hey, avoid these mistakes, or do this, and that's why this is why I'm getting back into origination.
Yeah, I mean, I just say like nothing beats quality quantity. Like you need quantity, and like a Facebook. Look, listen, like social media and stuff like that, it helps. It helps build your like image with people that know you. But like the key is getting the most people to know you. And I mean, I see like when I look at the people who are making phone calls, who are using their telephone and making phone calls, and I mean I see all the numbers in tempo, and I see the people who are actually making phone calls every single day when they're making 10, 20, 30. I mean, 10 is too few. Like when they're making 15 to 30 phone calls a day, you look at those people, and then you look at the people who are having their best months ever. It's always, always the same people. Like the people who use their telephone the most are the people who have the most best months ever. And so, yeah, and I think that's part of that resting on your laurels thing. It's like, oh, I'm at 4 deals a month, 2 deals a month. Like, let me post this on social media. Let me like host these events. Let me like do something new and inventive and like really try and hack the system and like over optimize. Like, no, call people or show up where they are and then get face to face time with them and then be consistent in your follow up with them. And like nothing beats quality quantity. It's like you can't hack it. Like you're gonna have a 5% conversion rate in your life out of people that might want to buy a house. So get as many people on the big number side so you can have more people on the smaller number side. So that I would say that's the biggest one that I see is people losing that quantity. They lose the drive and they want to hack the system, and it's like it's not a hackable system.
Yeah, and I've seen that. I've gone down that path myself, and I think it's an instinct that we all get. I think you and I are kind of in the same point of our lives where it's like we've realized we've seen enough data.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the work is required. The work requires work, and at the end of the day, if we want the outcomes of like really what we both aspire for, what all of us aspire for is freedom to make decisions, freedom to control our time, freedom to do the things we want. And you only get freedom when you solve the financial burden of life. And that's what what loan officers need to crack the code on. All right. So I got two more questions for you. One, what core value do you connect with the most and why?
Oh man, they're all so good. God, I thought they were so stupid when I joined UMortgage. I was like, this corporate. I was like, this 30-person company with their like corporate bullshit. And then like 2 months later, I was like, relationships, not transactions, guys. I'm like totally bought in. Yeah, I don't know. I think the one that's changed. There's some that I came in that like really I already vibed with, like own the moment and get better every day. Obviously, I'm getting better every day. Oh, look at like, but I think relationships, not transactions. Like I really did look at this as a transactional business, and that's actually been something that like you specifically and everybody else has taught me that like. Again, like I just said, it's a quantity game, but there's quality to it, and like, and I've started to value my own time enough to be like, it isn't just like, hey, I'll work with anybody, whatever. If they send me business, I'll be all things to all people. It's like, no, like I actually do value the relationships. I'm looking forward to valuing my business relationships because I so value my working relationships right now. So I think that's my favorite one. Yeah, relationships. It's the one that's taught me the most and changed me the most.
That's awesome. Last question. So fast forward a year.
Mhm.
We come back in 1 year. So we're talking August 1st of 2027. What does Sean Grapevine's business look like then?
Well, first of all, in the background, there's gonna be like palm trees. I'll be on this call with my shirt off, like 2 chains, drinking Mai Tai. And I'll be like, no. Yeah, I mean, I really look forward. I don't want to be always prospecting. I want to get to the point where I don't have like where the because this you can build the snowball from the listing agents you win over, from like the agents in offices, from like your prior more recent prior clients and stuff like that. Like that snowball does begin to build, but I really think it's at like 10. I think it's like 10 loans a month, honestly. And so I'd love to be at the point where I've got a killer LOA. It's still just me. I am, and yeah, and like I mean, I want to be at 8 loans a month, and like happy at 8 loans a month. Not necessarily doing only easy deals, but only working with real estate agents that I like. And I look back at 2019, 2020, 2021. It's crazy. I mean, I did $30 million in purchases in 2020, I think, and 2021. And 80% of that came from 4 relationships. And the crazy thing about that is that those relationships were ones that I created in 2015 and 2016. And those agents did like 2 deals, like 4 deals a year at that point. They were brand new agents. Like we grew right alongside each other. So, I mean, that's some free advice is like, don't sleep on new agents. Don't sleep on people who are only doing 3. You never know who's like the next freaking whale that's going to come up, and like you are going to be the person they trust most because you invested in them and trust, and like they were able to trust you early on. Like literally 3 of the 4 people that were sending me 80% of my business in 2020 and 2021, I'd known for 5 years and started off as agents that were doing like open houses that weren't doing any business. And really we grew alongside each other. So yeah, I mean, I want to be doing 8 deals a month, 12 months from now. I want to do 8 deals a month, and I want to do it from like 6 agents. And I want to have like, I want to have a great relationship with each of them rather than like a million agents or whoever's sending me like deals to try and get done because like nobody else will do it. And like, like they're just trying to get anything in, and it's not like built on trust and friendship, but is like very transactional. So yeah, it's my goal.
That's awesome. Well, everybody, you heard it here first. Sean Grapevine, the man, the myth, the legend, the visionary that brought us Tempo, is making the big transition back into loan origination. Just to goes to show you that loan origination is truly at the heart of our company and everything we do. And congratulations, Sean. We're looking forward to supporting you on your journey, and looking forward to everybody continuing to take advantage of this incredible system, Tempo, that we've built here, that you helped bring to us. So thank you for everything you've done.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for trusting me with all of this stuff that I haven't been qualified to do, but I hope I've earned my keep here. And looking forward to seeing you guys on, I guess, like the sales huddle and the mortgage manual from now on.
Yep, 100%. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
See you guys.